What if I told you that 80% of what you are doing right now in your new business is a complete waste of time? Not because you're lazy, not because you're doing it wrong, but because you are focused on activities that feel productive but don't actually bring in clients. The difference between coaches who succeed and coaches who stay stuck isn't how hard they work, it's what they choose to work on. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to identify the critical 20% of activities that will generate 80% of your results. What to focus on when everything feels urgent. Let's be honest, as an early stage coach or consultant, everything feels important. You need clients now. You need to build your email list. You need to create content. You need to network. You need to improve your skills. How do you decide what to focus on and where to spend majority of your time? The answer lies in understanding the fundamental difference between activities that maintain your business and activities that grow it, and then ruthlessly prioritizing growth. Let's have a look at the revenue versus resistance framework. Here is a simple way I help my clients prioritize. Every activity in your business falls into one of two categories. Revenue generating activities. These are the ones that directly linked to bring in leads, bring in clients, and bring in income to your business. Let me be specific about what this actually means. This means having sales conversations with potential clients. This means following up with leads who've expressed interest. This means delivering exceptional results for current clients, which leads to referrals and testimonials, creating content that demonstrates your expertise and attracts ideal clients, building strategic relationships that lead to referrals. These activities have a direct link to revenue. They are the activities that, when you do them consistently, results in clients signing up to work with you. But there are also a second type of activities called resistance activities. These feel productive but don't directly generate revenue. Now, these activities are sneaky because they feel like real work. Perfecting your website for the 10th time, creating elaborate systems before you have clients who need them, researching endlessly about your next coaching offer or consulting offer instead of doing it and acting on it, redesigning your logo, constantly changing your niche, organizing your files or folders. Most early stage solopreneurs spend 80% of their time on resistance activities and wonder why they're not getting clients. Why? Because the resistance activities feel safer without you putting yourself out there, without the emotional risk or risk of rejection. You can redesign your website without facing a no from a potential client. You can organize your CRM without having the uncomfortable pricing conversation with your prospect. But here is what you need to understand. Resistance activities is exactly what it is, resistance. They're your brain's way of keeping you safe from the discomfort of putting yourself out there, and they're killing your business growth. So here is your action step. For the next week, I want you to track every business activity you do and categorize it as a revenue or resistance activity. Be brutally honest with yourself. Then commit to flipping it and start spending 70% of your business time on revenue generating activities, even if they feel uncomfortable. Identifying your time drains. Before we talk about what to prioritize, let's talk about what to eliminate. As an early stage coach or consultant with limited time, you just can't afford to have activities that drain your time without providing value. Let me walk you through the 4 most common time drains or even energy drains that I see with my clients. Drain number 1, the perfection trap. This is where you are rewriting your offer description for the 15th time, tweaking your website when it's already functional, creating massive slide decks when a simple conversation would do. The perfection trap keeps you in preparation mode forever. You never launch, you never send, because it's never quite perfect. Done is better than perfect, and consistent is better than done. Number 2, the learning black hole. This is when you are taking course after course without implementing anything. You think that you need to learn this and that, and then somehow magic will happen in your business. This is when you're attending every free webinar and workshop. Drain number 3, the busy work illusion. This is when you are checking your email every second, responding to every social media comment immediately, attending networking events that never lead to clients, doing administrative tasks that could be batched or automated. Busy work gives you the feeling of productivity without the results of productivity. You end the day exhausted, but with no results and with nothing meaningful accomplished. I actually see this a lot with people who are just starting and start calling themselves solopreneurs or entrepreneurs. And when I ask them what they spend most of their time on, it would be some kind of admin work, which is usually very rarely leads to generating leads, clients, or revenue in their business. Time drain number 4, the comparison spiral. This is when you are scrolling through other profiles, wondering why their business is growing faster than yours, trying to copy their strategies instead of focusing on your own lane and staying in your lane. By spending time on comparing yourself with others all the time, you are self-sabotaging your own growth. That is why I switched off my newsfeed on LinkedIn, and I am super intentional on what I choose to read and what I choose to watch. Here is an action item for you to help you identify your drains. Do a quick audit. I want you to pause right now and think about last week. Look at your calendar from last week. How much time did you spend on these time drains? Be honest. What if you had invested the time in having 3 sales conversations instead? How would that have changed your week and the outcomes of your week? Now let's talk about probably one of my favorite principles in time management, and especially when you're starting out, the 80-20 Pareto principles that can be applied for early stage consultants and coaches. The Pareto principle states that 20% of your efforts lead to 80% of your results. For early stage coaches and consultants, this is incredibly powerful. Here is the question that I want to ask yourself. What 20% of my activities generate 80% of my client results and revenue? For most coaches, these answers include 3 things. Number 1, sales conversations. Actually talking to potential clients about working together, not posting about your services, not hoping people will just sign up. Actually doing direct outreach to people and being proactive in talking to them about your offer, your services, and the transformation you can give them. Number 2, it is delivering the transformation itself, doing exceptional work with your current clients, which leads to referrals, testimonials, and amplifies your brand. One transformed client can lead to 3 referrals. And number 3, strategic visibility. Creating content or showing up in places where ideal clients actually are. Not random content on every platform. Strategic content that follows strategic content pillars that you would have defined for yourself and for your offer. And if you want to know more about how to build a content system and how to define those strategic pillars, you can check out my video here on content creation. Notice what's not on the list here: creating funnels, building complex websites, learning 10 different marketing strategies, posting 3 times a day on every social platform, and trying to be everywhere but deliver 0 value. Let me give you a real example. I once worked with a consultant who spent 6 months thinking about her perfect niche. We flipped that ratio. Within 6 weeks only, we refined and locked in her niche. We built an evergreen lead magnet, built a simple offer, and had a sales call training. She signed her first client within 6 weeks. So the action step I want you to take, I want you to make a list right now. List all the activities that you do for your business. Then honestly assess which 20% will directly lead to clients and revenue. Those are your priority activities. Schedule more of those and less of everything else, and probably prioritize those activities at the start of every day. The 3 MIT method, your daily non-negotiable baseline. Now I want to share with you the framework that has transformed my productivity and the productivity of every client I've taught it to. MIT stands for most important task. And here is how it works. Every single day, you identify 3 most important tasks. 1 for your business, 1 for yourself, and 1 for your relationships. This becomes your critical baseline for the day. From the moment you wake up until evening, these 3 things stay in your focus. Everything above those things, that is a bonus. But you absolutely must complete your baseline. And you don't go to bed until you do so. Let me break down each of the 3 MITs. MIT number 1, your business MIT. 1 task that directly grows your business. This isn't about staying busy, it's about addressing what your business needs most right now. If you're struggling with leads, you should be focusing on lead generation activities, which is messaging to potential clients on the platform where they hang out, running discovery calls, the more the better, posting thought leadership content that attracts your ideal clients, and following up with warm leads. If you have leads but they are not converting, your MIT for business is improving your sales process, which is refining your offer based on objections you're hearing through the conversation, practicing your sales conversation, working on your confidence, how you're walking into the call, creating proposals template, following up with people who said maybe. The key question you need to ask yourself every night is, what is the one super crucial task I have to get done for my business tomorrow? If you don't know the answer to that question, you need to go back and get clear on what your business needs most right now. MIT number 2, your personal MIT. One task for your health and growth. Your business will only grow as much as you do. This MIT is always about your well-being, both physical and mental. My first point is always my health. And here are some examples. Getting your workout in the gym, going for a 30-minute walk, meal prepping, getting 8 hours of sleep. Yes, sleep is super important and it can be your most important task. Reading or learning something that develops your skills. This is a non-negotiable. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Your clients need you at your best, and you need to be resourceful enough to go through the difficult days of the early stages of your business. MIT number 3, your relationship MIT. One task for quality time with loved ones. Building a business while neglecting the people who matter the most is a recipe for regret. This MIT ensures you're not dropping one of the most fragile and most important balls in your life, which is the relationships with your children, with your family, with your partner, or with your siblings. So here are some examples that I implemented in my life and I stick to them religiously. Having a date night with your partner. I usually have 2 date nights per month. Having meaningful quality time with my children, not just a to-do list, but truly quality time. It can be just 45 minutes, in a day when we're just in full connection and for being fully present. But maintaining those relationships is super critical. If this falls apart, what's the point of building the business in the first place? The power of this approach is that it allows me to achieve joyful productivity in all aspects of my life. Because you're not just building a business, you're building a life. And when you take care of all 3 areas daily, you show up better in each one. When I prioritize my workout, I have more energy for client calls. When I spend quality time with my husband, I feel more fulfilled and less resentful about business demands. When I focus on my one critical task in business, I make consistent progress without burning out. So here is your action step tonight. Before you go to bed, identify your 3 most important tasks for tomorrow. What is one super crucial task for your business? What is one thing for your health or your personal growth? And what is one way you will show up for the people you love? Write them down, put them somewhere you will see them first thing in the morning, and commit to those. These 3 things happen before anything else gets your time or gets your attention. I was listening to Mel Robbins in one of her recent podcasts, and she said that she starts her day with doing that one main thing that she's planned for herself the night before, even before she turns on her phone. Before she lets the whole world into her ecosystem, she focuses on that one thing that's going to give her the biggest breakthrough and the biggest leverage in her business and her life. Next week, I will talk about how to execute on hard things and how to make sure you don't procrastinate. So subscribe, press that bell notification button, and make sure you check out the video next week. Use today's video to identify what your key priorities need to be, what will give you the biggest breakthrough, and what will give you the highest leverage. As always, rooting for you, for your success, for your business growth. With care, Anna. See you next week.